Good morning, good afternoon, happy August. We are in the first official week of August. I know it's our last week, but this is the first official full week of August, and wanted to start off the August with a great comic book market report coming to you guys once again from Furfur the Nerd. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe on all of my videos. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting a lot of views, which is great. It means that the community is liking the content that we're providing. The more you guys watch, the more content we will do for you guys. And catch us live every Sunday. And every couple weeks, we'll try and do a One Piece show as well to kind of talk about everything One Piece, but specifically trading cards. Now, this list, last week the kind of the hot topic obviously was Deadpool and Wolverine, and it kind of made me think about not so much the upcoming movies for the MCU, but some books that popped off for various reasons, whether there be rumors or the typical whatever you guys know about what pops up comics. But I also thought about what was said over the past weekend. Now I read an article that Kevin Feige has fired or let go of some of the quote unquote bad writers or producers, basically the community that wasn't doing very well in ratings. And oddly enough, X-Men 97 did not hit, I guess, expectations, which I thought was very odd. I felt like people, especially specifically like my age, like loved the show. It wasn't amazing, but it was sure as hell entertaining as far as the writing is concerned. I was very shocked to hear about that. But, shows like The Marvels, shows like, I don't know if Kamala Khan fits in that category, but just the recent shows that have really not done well at all. Some of those producers or writers or people that kind of pertain to those shows have been let go. And also some future projects, i.e. Silver Surfer, there may not be a female Silver Surfer, some other projects that may not be going forward. So it kind of confuses and it kind of messes with the spec in general. I don't know what's going to happen with Ironheart. I don't know what's going to happen with Kamala Khan. What's going to happen to Kate Bishop? Who knows? Young Avengers, I don't know. I haven't heard anything really about that. So is it a buying opportunity to get these books? Or is the market from these prices are showing, is it time to dump them and move on? We'll kind of go into those in this little 20 to 30 minute video. Again, I want to thank the community for getting us up to almost 700 subscribers. Just 2 more and we're at 700. It's been a great development process, what have you. And I really appreciate everyone's support. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Okay. And I got, obviously, most of these prices were off eBay. So let's start off with the first one. And a lot of these books, you'll probably remember, like, the typical dollar bin fodder turns into gold, $50 or whatever. And some of these, although some of these have kind of held up. So we'll take a look. First off, I was talking about Riri. This is the Riri Williams Ironheart second print, not third print. I apologize. Really tough to get in high grade. It's a white cover. I honestly thought this was my favorite one to hunt for just because it was a second print, not so much a ratio. It's really clean. It's the suit's really nice. It doesn't really match what her actual suit is, so that kind of has it going against it. Excuse me. But it's absolutely beautiful. And I honestly want to say that Ironheart was a very fun read for me. I didn't really care about all the noise kind of surrounding Ironheart, the hate, all that, but I really did enjoy the series and reading it as like kind of a fan. $50 for a 9.6. That's down huge. I remember selling these books, or not selling. I remember seeing these books for like 200 to 300 raw. It's incredibly hard in 9.8 just because of the white background. I'm not specking, but if I was, I wouldn't mind paying 110 for a 9.8 just because it has that collectability value of it. Who knows, in 10 years, this might, some Gen Z fan may want to pick this up later down the road. But for now, $50 for a 9.6, like that's highway robbery. But I get it just with the state of the market as of today. Bloodstone #1. I haven't seen or heard about Elsa in like 2 years. It feels like I feel like the show that came out during Halloween. I mean, I don't even remember the title of it, right? So it didn't really stick with me, and they didn't really build on it, which is really unfortunate. I thought it was a fun show, definitely rewatchable, a little 45-minute, time out of your day. The art and the story on this book itself are just really really cool. I'd say it's a aside from the cover art or whatever, it's a really good story. All these covers are really fun. I feel like this book still has like comic book collectability with it. With that said, $300 for a 9.8, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, that makes sense to me. If I was searching for this book and I, had $300 to spend, I think that's fair because again, I think there's a collectability factor in regards to the story, the character. MCU, yeah, it's not really going to hit to $800, which it was at one point, but just because that uncertainty is concerned. But I feel like collectors are still wanting this book in high grade, and it's a beautiful book regardless. So, wow, we're beasting through these books. Another one, Marvel's Assistant Size Spectacular #2, Bloodstone and Galactus spec. So you got two things going for this. This is Elsa Bloodstone story within, and Galactus's daughter is in this game or in this book. Now, I remember this was kind of an exciting spec for me. I remember this was like a #1 in the top 10. Shout out to Stein's top 10 and Brian, Red Hood, Yeezy, and my good friend Richie. Shout out to you guys for all you do on the Friday night channel. If you guys don't catch them, they're on Friday nights. They have a great top 10. But I remember when they talked about this spec, it was for the daughter of Galactus and her appearing in a video game. So this shot up, these books quite a bit. I remember seeing them for like $30 to $60. It's come down a little bit, $24.99, $29.99. I've had this book in the past, and it's very susceptible to spine ticks just because it's a bigger book. It's a fun spec for me though, just because it was video game spec versus like Marvel MCU spec, which is still okay. I mean, I think they have to hit another Deadpool Wolverine type deal, but I thought it was just a fun spec for me. It definitely brought a different audience into wanting to get this book. And I think if anything out of the future for investing in collectibles, you have to go into something that has to do with video games or mobile, just because physical media is going away. The movies aren't doing very well, but the storylines in video games are doing very, very well. So, all right, on to the next. This is, to me right now, too risky to even spend $12 on this book. Hercules Twilight. This is the first appearance of the first female modern Silver Surfer. I guess she shows up in Fantastic Four, but this was the book that kind of heated up. I remember books going for like $1 to like 12. And I'm curious, like, let's see here. I'm gonna look up something real quick. Silver Surfer, female MCU. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of talk. Shalabal, right? So what I have heard though recently is that they may get rid of this character in general, or if she does show up, it's going to be really quick. So I think that's what kind of added to the disdain or the minimalist price in this book so far. You know, when the announcement came out, I think in April or so, like this book popped up. There was a lot of just like, that's not the right book, this is the right book type of talk, but this is definitely the book that did spike. But yeah, I heard she got canned, and that's like rumors from a Twitter account that I won't mention, but yeah, just something to like think about when you're specking on characters that are B, C, D level characters, and you have it, like, sell it. Don't try and buy it. Don't try to buy it hot. It's so hard to confirm what's actually going to happen. And even if it does happen, it may not really be a focal point of the movie, show, whatever you're trying to spec on. So just food for thought. And you guys don't know that. So this was kind of a cool one. I think that has like some longer term value. It's always going to be a collectible, I think, with just every generation. John Wick #4, the photo variant. I remember seeing this book at a store in Seattle that has since closed. Really sad, but they just couldn't get stuff going. But I remember seeing like this, and I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool to get Kennedy's autograph. But I wasn't really into collecting, comics like I am today. And I kind of wish I grabbed one because they're hard to find. This is a Dynamite this book was this book was published by Dynamite. The photo variants, my assumption, weren't really picked up very highly, and they're pretty rare. It's a later issue. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. I'm not sure, but Keanu Reeves has no enemies around the world. I mean, no one hates Keanu Reeves, just like they don't hate me. Anyway, $39.99 for a raw. It's got to be short print. I just gotta assume because this isn't the cover A; it's a cover B cover. Cover A, cover B, cover. But anyway, yeah, John Wick #4, the photo variant. If you want one, $39.99 for a raw. Last time I looked a few months ago, this is about the same amount. But man, who knows? Maybe Keanu Reeves will do a sign in your area one day, or you might run into him in the street. I don't know. But before I get into the next book, we're about 10 minutes in. I just want to say thanks everyone to the community. I was shocked today. I woke up and we had like 3 new subscribers, a ton of hours viewed. We're doing those One Piece videos that are starting to catch a little bit of steam here. The last one I did had 8 hours of viewed on it, so which is great. And I want to say that the comic book ones are probably the most popular consistently, but I'm trying to keep it a little shorter so people can just kind of run through them and peace out. But I do appreciate everyone's support. If you could click that like button, subscribe to all your friends about it, I really would appreciate it. This is kind of a fun one. Beavis and Butthead #28. I haven't caught the newest show, but shout out to my buddy Cooper and his wife. His wife is actually a writer on episode 3 of the newest season on Paramount. This is the rare of the Beavis and Butthead books. It's a last issue goodness. I've never seen this book in person, but it just brings back so many memories to me. Obviously the first issue is the one that everyone wants to get, like a newsstand, but I think this would be a fun one to hunt for in the wild. But $28.99 for a high grade, I think that's probably going to stay like this test of time. The thing with Beavis and Butthead I think is kind of funny is this is how media is consumed, right? Like if you had cable back in the day, everyone knew about Beavis and Butthead. If you didn't have cable, like you didn't know about Beavis and Butthead unless your friends talked about it. And then it went to VHS. You go rent it at the the VHS store. Yeah, I know I'm old. And you laugh about it, whatever. I mean, I don't even have Paramount Plus, so I have never seen an actual. I've never seen a Beavis and Butthead newer series as of right now. So I'd love to see it. It'd probably cross my path. But the point I'm trying to make is like if you don't have Paramount Plus, you're not watching Beavis and Butthead. So that kind of hurts the collectability of this with newer generations versus like The Simpsons. Like I feel like a lot of kids watch The Simpsons because it's on Fox and it's always going to have resonation. So as far as if you're thinking about collecting early 90s like cartoons, Beavis and Butthead probably doesn't really hit the Gen Z unless they have Paramount Plus, but Simpsons is always going to be very popular. So anyway, food for thought. Static Hawk, Rebirth of the Cool, and then 9.8. I hold on to this book for right now. I bought one for $300, and I'm not mad at it. It's one of my wall books. But I saw $600 for a 9.8 best offer. I wonder if Static will ever make it to the MDCU. I mean, I think a good Static might be that kid from. It might be the kid from Cobra Kai. I think he'd be a really good Static. He kind of hits that age range, and I know people have talked about him being Miles. I don't think he's like big enough to be Miles, in my opinion. But I don't know. I know that the Milestone imprint at DC is a little hard to get over with copyrights, but I mean, the money's there. The money's there. And to me, I think Static Shock is a more enjoyable character than Miles is, just because he has his own little town. It's he was written before Miles. I think you could argue that Miles was based on Static Shock. He just didn't get enough pub because of the Milestone, kind of gaffes or whatever. But $600 for a 9.8 if you want this book. This is a miniseries that came out in the early 2000s. It's not a big print run. It was a 4-issue miniseries, which Static Shock is always and will be my favorite series to read. Every single series I've read is just really fun. But I hate how they're all miniseries and it sucks. But anyway, I think the art and cover on this is pretty awesome too. So with that said, Static Shock, Rebirth of the Cool, $600. On to the next. Hold on. God. Okay. All right, Dragon Age, the comic book. I could not find any single issues of this book. This game has been optioned. Again, video game and comic books. It's a great combination, in my opinion. I did find a set that went for 125 bucks, 1 through 6. When the news came out that Dragon Age was to be optioned, I remember seeing $30 near mints coming out. This cover is really great. I haven't read the book because it's just too damn expensive for me to read. But 9/8 were going for like 300 to 400, which is pretty crazy. So I think just like with grading video games, this is going to be a hot thing, especially if this Dragon Age, I never played the game, but especially if this Dragon Age game gets going or show becomes really popular. I'm not sure who's doing the show. Let's check it out. Okay. Dragon Age live option. Okay, I can. Oh, here we go. So it's in development at Netflix. Here we go. Dragon Age series in development at Netflix. Updated 1 year ago. So yeah, it's a live action series. So that's pretty cool. Netflix it's I think they have their kind of projects settled, so you don't have to really worry about like, oh, they're gonna shelve a project. I mean, they could, but like the likelihood of that happening. I remember when there was the news that Amazon was kind of shelving a bunch of projects. Like, it's not as like common now, but I don't know. I think I would. The market seems pretty like relaxed a little bit. If you can get this for like 30 bucks, I'm not mad at it. I would go actually the different route. I go with strategy guys in this instead, but I actually have one. But 125 bucks for issues 1 through 6, not bad. I ain't mad at that. Let's see here. G.I. Joe, the retailer incentive from 2012. This book is absolutely gorgeous. It's on one. I almost put this on like the top modern variants of the modern era, 2000s and higher. But this I cannot find many sales on. A 9/6 went for 900 bucks, best offer. I don't even know who the hell Antonio Fuso is. Shame on me, I know, but this book is like gorgeous. I think if you're especially with the heat now that is Cobra or that is GI Joe, if you got some money and you are a GI Joe fan, forget all the Snake Eyes variants, go for this one. It is absolutely gorgeous. Zatanna does pretty well on this cover. So yeah, I do appreciate everyone coming through. It's we're done with our show for the day. Again, if you guys could do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tell all your friends, and we'll see you with another report. Hopefully tomorrow. I'll see if I have some time. But I really appreciate everyone watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and take care.